to the Beyond the Box podcast. Today we have Mia Rhodes here with us. We're also in a little bit of a new location. We got a new garage gym that came with my new house. So you'll see that transform over the course of this podcast. So I'm going to turn it over to Nikki to give us a little bit of an intro.
Yeah, so Mia Rhodes, we are blessed to have her come join us today. So just a slight introduction, and Mia's going to correct anything I get wrong here. Mia has many accomplishments in her young age of being 17 years old, but the most recent one that I know of is the Youth World Championship. She is the gold medalist in the clean and jerk and the snatch. So that's the most recent.
Yes.
But we have lots of other accomplishments.
Yeah.
And where was that held at?
That was in Mexico.
In Mexico.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take us back. When did you start lifting?
November
Oh, we got a date.
November 2015. So I was like 10.
Oh my goodness.
10 and a half, yeah.
What got you into lifting?
When I used to do gymnastics before this, and I had a really bad back injury. I fractured it. So to get my back stronger, I decided to lift because my brother was doing it at the time. He did it for about a year. And then I realized while I was doing it, I was like, wow, this is way more fun than gymnastics. Because I was going hard. I was like 9 doing 6 days a week, 6 hours training. It was just a lot. So I was so burnt out. And so then I decided lifting was the way to go.
Yeah. So how do you balance, you're a high school student.
Mm-hmm.
Lifting has to take up a lot of time. I know you travel, and we're going to talk about the travel in just a second. So how do you balance that? How do you balance that lifestyle out of being, a young person enjoying, your youth and
it's
training?
Hard. You got to sacrifice a lot. I learned early, and you got to sacrifice. But I also do dual enrollment, so I do college and high school, which sounds busy, but it actually frees up my schedule quite a bit because I can kind of make it my own. Mm-hmm. So that kind of helps a lot, and just a lot of communication, especially with my parents. My parents do so much for me. I don't even know how they deal with me sometimes.
They're amazing.
Yeah, but they help me a lot with all of my schedules and plannings.
That's something. So where do you train at?
I train in my garage. It's just sounds very weird, but I also have a garage gym because my coach lives 2 hours away. He lives in Vero Beach. Mm-hmm. So I can't go over to train with him every day, especially during the school year when I have all this stuff. So my garage, the Zoom call, it's how I am. Yep.
You video and he makes any
corrects me when I can. I have calls with him every once in a while. And that's about it.
Pretty
just goes to show you don't need all the fancy
stuff. All the fancy stuff.
He's a good coach that can spot the movement and makes you
work
better.
With you.
That's it.
Good coach, put in the work.
That's it. That's it. You're lifting for the high school this year too, right?
Yes, I am.
This
senior year.
This is the only year that you've lifted with them?
I lifted my freshman year.
Okay.
I got second in state, and then I stopped sophomore and junior year because I wanted to focus on Olympic lifting outside of it.
Gotcha.
And now I decided, try it again. Let's do it again.
So let's take a state championship home for our senior year.
Yep, that's the goal.
That's pretty awesome. And now we know we play flag football.
Yep, flag football is also a thing. I did that my sophomore year.
Maybe I'm telling a secret, coach, that
she coming out. Surprise!
She's gonna be talking to you soon about this. And I understand why the coach is going to have a little bit of it'll be a little nerve-wracking because the one was it sophomore year?
Yeah, sophomore year. I broke my finger.
Broke your finger.
Yes, put me out of commission
for a little. For a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I understand
definitely
that.
A little.
Yeah, the coach
I actually offered because I wanted to do wrestling for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I offered that to him. He's like, Mia, no. Like, wrestle me first. Keep in mind he's a gigantic dude. So he's like, wrestle me first and then you could do it. I was like, that's not fair.
That's not fair.
What do you mean? But yeah.
That's not fair at all. But that's cool though. So you'll play your senior year flag, you'll do senior. I'm sure there's a state championship just awaiting you just to go hit your lifts.
Yeah.
Which is super cool. So how do you balance that? Because I know the high school has their coaches. Mm-hmm. You have your coach. So when you go into the high school, are you taking your own programming with you so that it doesn't get offset with what they're doing at the school?
Yeah, I am. My high school coach is actually super understanding, which makes it much easier to work with.
You have Coach Dunn.
Coach
Dunn.
Dunn.
He's a great guy. Great guy.
So he understands, I know, you've done a lot. You obviously know what you're doing. You've proved that. So he kind of just lets me do my own thing. Mm-hmm. And obviously I'm still part of the team. I still interact with them. I still work out with them. Right. I'm just not doing the same workouts every day. So, but he's really understanding with that, which makes it way easier.
I'm
to
sure.
juggle.
I'm sure the young ladies too and the young fellas on the weightlifting team are glad to have you there because I mean you can coach them through their movements
Very
as
true.
well. I'm gonna say the word diet. What's your nutrition like?
Oh,
Everybody's like, oh, say, oh,
my nutrition. I will say it's been more strict, you could say, but mostly I'm not strict. Like I used to track my macros. I used to do all that fun stuff, but I stopped that because I realized I'm young.
Yeah.
I'm growing. Like, because I did that most when I was like 13, 14. I was like, I shouldn't be like being all this strict right now.
Right.
So now I eat healthy when I need to, kind of cut back when I see, hey, I'm getting a little too out of hand. But for the most part, I'm generally pretty healthy in my dieting.
Yeah. So just going a little more intuitive with either.
Yeah, just kind of think because I have done my macros. I kind of know a decent amount of carbs and proteins and fats to eat.
You can look
day.
at it and see what you're supposed to
Yeah, so I can
eat.
kind of estimate kind of around a number. Like, I
no,
probably shouldn't eat that, or I can
like
eat that.
daggone, it looks good. Right?
It's hard.
It
Well,
looks
that's
good.
one of those things. Like just like doing macros for a little bit, it gives you an understanding of portions, and it just makes everything after that easier. So even if you're not tracking down to the gram of everything, like you're like, okay, this is a portion of rice. I'm not gonna get like 3 tons,
Even though I may want to.
unless it's your wife giving it to
Yes,
you.
like,
and-
no, gotta have it. Tell me where you traveled to, because I remember Dubai.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, okay.
Yeah.
How
even
was
more
that
dangerous.
experience?
Oh my god, it was much better than I was expecting. They actually welcomed like USA more than I thought they would, because usually it's like you don't really like us.
Yeah.
But now it's like actually like, because obviously we couldn't go outside, but like even when we went like on and off the buses that we had to go on, the drivers would like take pictures with us because they're just so amazed that we had like USA stuff on, and like other countries mostly the Saudi Arabian ones were like, woo, kind of like looking at us. I was like, oh, we're cool. But yeah, so I went there, and then I've been to Mexico a few times, and then going to Guatemala, actually in a couple weeks, and during Thanksgiving weekend. But
So
That's the
there's a
plans.
competition down there? Or?
yeah, it's the Youth Pan American Championships.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I did the Worlds obviously in June, and then in November it's just Pan Am, so it's just like the North and South American countries and Central America.
Okay, that's really cool.
You lived in Guatemala, right?
3
That's
years,
what she
yeah.
has.
Really?
Guatemala,
Yeah.
So
Yep,
we need
so-
an interpreter. I mean, she might be. Kira might be
If
able to
nothing
break
else, I could
away.
probably give you restaurant recommendations. Assuming you're in Guatemala City or Antigua, which you probably
Pretty sure
are.
it's Guatemala City.
Yeah,
so.
I'm sure.
So I'm gonna go back to Saudi Arabia. So you land, they take you straight to your hotel, and that's where you got to
Yeah, we
get
go
to be.
Yep, we go to hotel, go straight in the bus, go out, go to the competition venue, which was actually in the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. So we were mad fancy with that. And then we just went in and out. Like, we couldn't go outside, but it was pretty cool. Like, even in the bus ride, you could see the Red Sea and even see, like, I think it's Egypt. That's the country across from it. And, like, you can see some of that. So it's actually really cool.
So all your hard work, I mean, you're seeing the world. I mean, you're earning it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like somebody said, hey, you want to go for a ride on a plane, but I mean, you're doing the work,
Yeah.
and you're getting to have all these amazing experiences at a young age.
Yeah, extremely blessed.
That is so cool. And so we were talking earlier. Right now, you're considered youth because of your age.
Mm-hmm.
Your next bump up is going to be
Juniors.
juniors, and that's when you
That's right.
January we become.
Yep, everyone. So it's like weightlifting. It's just based off of your birth year and not your birthday. So because I was born in 2005, in the year 2023, I'm going to be 18. So I'm considered 18 for the whole year of 2023.
So 18 to 21,
20. And then 21 is when I'm a senior.
and then you go to the seniors.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool. And at any time, you'll know when your body's mature enough, you're hitting the weights, then Olympic bound or goals. Olympic.
That's the goal.
That's the
Right
goal.
now, there's a lot of stuff with drug use and lifting. So hopefully weightlifting's still in the Olympics by then, but the goal is obviously still Olympics. Yes.
So that's pretty
So at
impressive.
the youth level, do you have to deal with USADA? Do they know where you are
Yeah.
constantly?
Actually, coincidentally, I actually got tested this morning.
Okay.
I got randomly drug tested. They came to my house at like 6:45 in the morning.
Yep.
Came
good
knocking on my
morning
door.
there, sunshine.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Hey, go pee in a cup.
Yeah.
Thank goodness in the morning. I'm good to go.
Yeah, there was a Matt Frazier podcast where he was talking about like back when he was weightlifting. He's like, yeah, they always knew where I was, and they'd always show up at 5:45 in the morning because they always knew.
5:45? Ooh, that's early.
He's like, yeah, they always knew where you were then because they didn't have to like check through the schedule. They could just go to people's beds and
keeps
you didn't
it
have to
on.
pee. They followed you around to class until you had to pee.
Yeah.
Who's your new friend? Oh, he's just
He's waiting until I pee. It's all
he's carrying this cup behind you. What's this all about?
right. Yeah.
That's going to be interesting, though. Just knock on the door, but it keeps the sport honest.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And that's important. I mean, as CrossFitters, watching some of the athletes from a few years ago where we had a lot of PEDs were popped and they were losing, their ranking and positioning, it's important, if you're doing the work and somebody's doing, something that's helping them, that's just not a...
Yeah, definitely keeps the integrity of the sport. Like, it's annoying sometimes, obviously,
Sure.
but I can't complain about it.
Yeah, it keeps that other guy across the road.
Yeah,
Nice
exactly.
and honest.
I can't be like, don't test me on my dot.
Yes.
Because it's like, oh, what are you doing?
I've got to go to school. I'm on my way to school, leave me be.
Yeah.
So how many days a week you hitting the weights? Are you training?
Right now, 4.
Okay.
Which is actually less than people think. People think I do like 6 days a week, but it's really
That's
just
what
like,
I thought. I thought you were about
Yeah.
6 or 7 days a week.
it's really just 4 days, maybe probably like 2 to 3 hours each session.
And how do you break it down? You doing like a strength cycle, like a 11 or 12 week strength cycle,
It
doing
depends.
technique, or
Yeah, right now, I was actually in a long cycle. I think my cycle was like 15 weeks, this one that I'm in, and now it's almost done. It obviously was leading up to Pan Am's. But usually they vary around 8 to 12 weeks.
okay?
But they get long.
I bet they do.
They feel long, at least.
Those long training days. We were just talking to Adele, who they just took first place.
Yeah.
Yay, Adele.
Elite
At the
Vanguard.
Elite at Vanguard, four-person team. They just took first place, and he was just talking about the 2 to 3 hour daily sessions and the toll it takes on your body. But they won, so I'm sure they're very glad they put that time in.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to not put the time in and go, I could have done better.
I even know like CrossFitters, I feel like some of them are in the gym for like hours. Like, I feel like it's like basically like a job. Like, because they do multiple workouts in the day,
Yeah,
obviously.
two
So I
a
feel like
days.
they're there for like 6-7 hours. I'm like, I do not know how you do that.
That's tough.
For sure.
Yeah.
But, I guess you're getting paid for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's probably not as bad.
Yeah. You're going to give me a check. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there.
So heading out to Guatemala soon. On a lift day, do you have any special routines? Any special things you like to eat? Like, I like a Sour Patch before a workout.
I will say, like,
It's a healthy
during
Sour
lifting-
Patch, though, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah, the low carb ones.
It's the red one. That one's probably healthier. No.
But I will say, in the back, I have like I have a lucky singlet, which sounds weird because all the singlets look the same. Like, you can't tell the difference, but I
But
know
you know
like the
which one.
difference. Yeah, I know the difference. I wear the same tights. I usually have the same food. I have the same type of gummy. It's it's like the watermelon ones, but not the Sour Patch ones, like the bigger ones.
Oh,
Those
yeah,
ones?
yeah, like the old
Okay.
school ones.
Yeah, those are like my signature gummy that I have almost every. I literally get them like before I leave.
Yeah.
So like if I don't find them, I'll freak out.
Yeah.
So I get them before I leave and I take them
It's
with
a
me.
superstition. It makes it work.
You
Yeah.
needed like a Pat and Tony sponsorship to
I do.
hook you up with the watermelon.
I
We need to stop by there later and talk to them. Say, hey, Mia, this great kid. She needs some of this watermelon. We need to
do.
keep her in
I
them.
wish. And then I usually have grilled chicken after my weigh-in. I don't know why it's always grilled chicken. I feel like that's just the easiest. But yeah, I have a couple like ritual things, even just like setups. But I feel like everyone has like their normal setup, like walk into a bar.
Yeah.
But nothing
But you-
like too like specific weird. Like I feel like I'm pretty
And you
normal
see,
when it comes to that.
who's it,
stuff.
Tia Toomey, that pounds, or somebody pounds the ground
Oh yeah,
before they
stomps
walk
the
up.
ground before
Stomps
she
the
steps
ground.
onto the
Yes.
platform.
But everybody has that their little thing that they
Yeah.
do.
I click my heels, which is like a
Yeah.
type of
There we
thing.
go.
Yeah.
I always do that.
Well, we'll
We're
keep an
gonna,
eye
I'm
out
gonna
for
be,
it.
next time,
Next comp.
next time, I'm gonna- oh, she did it.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you guys go live with your comps too. Allows us to see you back
Watch.
home and watch you lift. And your brother.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk a little bit about your brother. Your brother's also a lifter.
Yep.
And he got probably started same time you did or a little bit
He
before?
started like a year before me.
Okay.
So
My
what was
sister
that,
had to follow
2014?
him.
Yeah, of course.
Had to follow
Had to. Had
But
to.
he's, I mean, he's quite the lifter himself also.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a
definitely has-
family of lifters.
Team USA athlete also. So
Yeah.
we definitely have our credentials.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So what's your next big goal?
Next big goal. Oh my! I just try to take it day by day, honestly. Like I don't really have obviously the goal is world championships, Olympics, all that stuff. But I just gotta. I feel like my mindset's just taking it day by day because I feel like if I overlook it, then I'm gonna forget what I'm doing.
Okay,
Yeah.
stay,
So-
live in the moment.
Yep.
Live in the moment. That's
Yeah.
So if we live in a moment, we're going to lift at school and maybe take a state championship, and we'll just move on.
Yep.
And we're going to play flag football, and we're going to keep our
Hopefully keep all the fingers.
all the fingers.
Keep them all intact.
keep them all intact. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you said your parents play a huge role in what you do.
Yes.
So the scheduling.
Yeah. And the
Moving
fact that because my parents are divorced. They've been divorced since I was like 3. And I have a stepdad as well. And they all get along. They all.
And I can attest to this because we were at the football games because my daughter plays, and you have mom, dad, stepdad, all together, laughing, smiling, and just absolutely supportive of you out there on the field. That's amazing. So you said you got amazing parents. That's an amazing feat right there by itself.
It kind of makes me laugh sometimes because people find that so weird.
Like the way it should be.
Yeah, like people ask me all the time, like, why do your dads get along? I'm like, I don't know.
They're decent people.
Yeah,
they're good
like
people.
they put me first. Like I'm a priority to them.
Yeah.
So like they don't like just fight all the time.
They sit there. I mean, you watch them smile. They're laughing. They're and when you're doing something on the field that's exciting, you watch, and your brothers there, all 4 of them pop up. They're all it's not like one gets up and says, well, I better get up too. They're like, boom, they're all up and cheer. But they put you first, like you said, you and your brother.
It's actually funny. Almost like almost all of my competition that I go to, like the ones that are nationally that they go to, my dad and my stepdad tend to go to a bar together and get drinks. Like my dad, my stepdad, and my coach, they always just go to a bar.
And mom's like, what about me?
Like, okay, guys.
Okay, guys. Are you talking about me or is this?
I just find it so funny. It's like it actually made me realize how lucky I am lifting with that stuff, because I'm like, not everybody has that.
No, that's absolutely not.
Yeah. So just like realizing that's kind of like, wow.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a big
pretty
wow.
cool.
That's a huge huge wow. So we're gonna graduate with our AS degree, AA degree.
Parts, yeah.
So where are you gonna go to school at, you think?
I actually just finished applying. I applied last month, and I applied right now I'm in between UF and UCF.
Okay, we can go with those.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say FSU. Sorry.
I applied to FSU, but I'm like, I really just applied to see if I could get into UF and FSU. But I definitely choose UCF over FSU, and I'm almost like a guaranteed into UCF.
So you and your brother be back together again.
Yeah, back with each other.
Back with each other.
On the academic side of things, is there something that you're leaning towards?
I definitely I want to go into like PT school, probably major in like a kinesiology.
Yeah.
But or maybe exercise science, depending on where I go. But
that's gonna be perfect for you. You're gonna stay with what you love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Living in the moment.
Yeah, it's a very popular major for lifters. I'd say about 80% of lifters, that's what they major in if they go to college.
Yeah.
That's
Which it makes sense.
If it's your passion.
Yeah,
why would
it's the study of the body's movement, and lifting is focused on body movement. So it's like
favorite clean and jerk or snatch? Or you just
I gotta do snatch. Gotta do snatch. Everyone always hates on me for it because like clean and jerk for the money or whatever. But I'm like,
nah.
Snatch is the way to go.
Yeah.
Snatch.
Watching you get underneath that barbell, the amount of speed that you get underneath
the
that barbell.
freaking pull under.
The pull is
gorgeous.
Oh my gosh, she's already down there. And she's sitting in a hole looking at us like, hey,
Hey guys, I'm here.
look what I got for you.
Yeah, I love snatch. I'm a technique person, and clean and jerk off is just muscle it up, front squat it, jerk it.
But you got like fast feet though. When you jerk,
yeah,
man,
I love jerks.
Yeah,
if it was just jerk and not clean, I would
be fine.
Yeah, it'd be the best sport in the world. Like, because I gotta clean, it's like
But I gotta get here to get to the room. That's cool. So, Planet UF and UCF is a great school too.
Yeah.
Why does it bother me here? Like, hey.
There we go.
So you'll get in. So you got a lot of goals. You got a lot of things that you're pushing forward to.
Yeah, UCF's like my safe school because like what they do, well, like with dual enrollment, if you get your AA, that like helps you a lot with the UCF because it's kind of connected. And if you're in your top 10% of your class, you're basically automatically in. And I'm in my top 10%.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course you are.
So that's kind of like a secure spot.
That's good. Your parents got to be so proud. Good grades.
2 kids.
Yeah, that's awesome. So if somebody want to get into lifting, a 10-year-old is sitting with their parents listening to this podcast, what do you tell them to do?
Oh, jeez. That's a lot of pressure, 10-year-old.
How about 11 or 12? How about anybody? How about...
I said, you just gotta... A lot of people think, like, when they lift, it's, like, they're too old to, or it's, like, a secondary sport. But, like, people forget that, like, this, like, it's a real sport. You know what I mean?
Without a doubt.
So it's, like, people kind of... Like, a lot of people know it, but don't know it. Especially... I was just talking about this with somebody. I forgot who. But like a lot of sports use weightlifting, and like the athletes like the lifting part, but don't know that it's its own separate thing. I mean, like you see football players do clean and jerks, and every other sport, D1 athletes, they go into the weight room and do all this stuff, but they don't know it's an actual sport, so they're kind of like scared to try it. But I'm like, you just gotta go.
Gotta go for it.
Yeah, you just gotta go. Be patient because it's frustrating.
Oh, yeah.
It can be very frustrating, but you just gotta.
I don't think you ever get perfect at it. You have some perfect moments.
Yeah.
But then something happens and you have to
it's impossible.
refine everything.
Yeah. Body can be hurting, movements a little off.
And what do you do on days like that? Because I mean, every athlete has days that they feel super good and days that they don't feel super good. So let's say you have programmed a super heavy day, but your body doesn't feel it. You go by.
Yeah, you gotta just take it light. That's what I always do, which it's hard because in your head it's like heavy day, max out, let's go, and then it's like you feel trash when it's 70%. For me, what kind of helps me is just making sure my movement is good.
Smart training.
So if my movement's good, even though the weights might not be heavy, I'm still like, okay, I still did good for the day. But if I'm forcing myself to go heavy, terrible training session, miss half of my lifts, I'm gonna be like, why'd I train? I was like, there's no point in being here.
It's just smart training. It's listening to your body and doing
a lot of mind games. Lifting is such a mind game.
If we could get
I'm sure CrossFit is too.
We get everybody that's 16, 17 years old to teach us, other athletes, hey, listen to your body. Listen to what your body is telling you to do. That's going to allow you to live longer in the sport also.
Oh, yeah.
Because you got a few years ahead of you to hit
That's the little things.
It's the little
annoying things. The rehab, the physical therapy. It's that stuff.
So do you do a lot of mobility?
I do mobility. That's kind of like part of my stretching. Like instead of like stretching before I lift, I kind of just do mobility, flexibility, kind of make sure all the muscles are firing, and then I go into it. And then I stretch after.
See, she could teach a bunch of us. There's Ramwad and GoWad, and we're like, oh yeah, that's a pretty cool app, and then we just and then we go
do
right
it for
a
week, and it's like,
okay, that's it. All right, I must be really flexible now. I work the whole week.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. Like a lot of people forget that to be as successful as you are, it's not just about muscle. It's about that flexibility. I mean, sitting way down there at the bottom of that squat. I mean,
didn't come overnight.
Yeah, there's a lot that went into that.
I wish it did, but it didn't.
The mobility is the key to strength. I mean, and people don't realize that. They just take a few minutes a day and work on that mobility, and things just get better when you do that.
Oh, for sure.
And I can tell you, as an aging athlete, I mean, mobility is the key. I've got to do stretching and some mobility. Otherwise, my body just doesn't. It's not going to respond.
Yeah.
So if you start young and you do it right all the way through, then you'll be great by the time you're my age.
Even I do student athletic training, so I help with like athletic training at my high school, and
so
like
you do the football games and stuff like that.
Yep, I'm on the sidelines, football games, doing all that stuff. And you especially see it like in the football plays, which you think you need that mobility, you need to have your body primed all the time. They just don't. They rarely
understand
do
it.
Maybe out of what? How big's a football team? We'll say 60 kids. Maybe 5 of them come in, like doing like the work they need to.
Yeah.
It's just like, you're not gonna last.
And the thing is,
like, I'm sorry,
it's
but
keep away injuries. I mean, they just don't
Yeah.
realize it. I work with one of the football players, and Gabe, who is 6'8".
Yep.
And that's a very big boy.
Yeah.
And he understood the importance of mobility, especially being as tall as he was. Those knees are sitting there for everybody to try to take out.
Yeah. Especially he's a lineman, right?
Yeah.
So he's pushing other 200-300 pound dudes.
Yes.
Can't do that overnight.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta take care
That's
of
a
that.
strong kid though, but he trained really. He puts his mind to it too. It's just kind of impressive to see these young people doing this.
Yeah, that's good. At least a couple of us are doing all right.
You're doing all right. You're doing all right.
Yeah. Well, we wish you the best of
Thank
luck
you.
as you go off. If people want to follow you on this journey, how do they do that?
Definitely, Instagram's the best way to go. Best way to go. It's my name, Mia Rhodes, with 2 A's and 2 S's.
We'll drop her handle and all of the show notes and everything for you.
We thank you so much for coming out
course.
and talking to us.
It's always
and,
fun.
Hopefully we'll inspire some more people to lift and some young people to get involved with it. So thank you for taking the time. Come join us. All right. All right.
Have a good one, guys.
Thanks for joining us.